is The Litter Box, a Detroit Lions podcast with your hosts, Chet West and Bill Patterson.
Lions Litter Box listeners, welcome to The Litter Box, Lions Edition, third episode, and we've got news for you. I'm here with my co-host, Chet West, and we're going to talk about preseason game number 3 against the Miami Dolphins. And it was a loss for the Lions, 24-17, but that's not really the important story of this. And Chet, I'm going to let you comment in just 1 minute. The important aspect of this is that Tuesday and Wednesday, the two teams, the Dolphins, Lions, had joint practices. And Colton Pouncey from The Athletic, who is someone I respect immensely, he used to cover Michigan State and their beat, and then has graduated and moved to the Lions beat. And he said Tuesday on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, that it was like the varsity scrimmaging against an 8th grade or freshman team. That the Lions dominated both lines of scrimmages to the point that the Dolphins were, quote unquote, embarrassed. That is, I think, the major story outside of these quick storylines, and then I'm firing it over to you. 1, Hendon Hooker fell even further behind. Kyle Allen looked real good. The Lions have 2 receivers battling for the final roster spots in that receiver/tight end room, and that's going to be something very interesting going forward. And then Broderick Martin, who everybody really hoped would show up, is missing in action, meaning he played, had 2 awful penalties, and was non-existent for a Lions team that was really stout against the run against the Dolphins. So I have a host of thoughts, but I really want to turn it over to my co-host and let him give us some his thoughts, and I'll come back to me.
A couple of things I found that were pretty impressive. One is the preseason game. Ford Field looked and sounded like a freaking playoff atmosphere. I mean, the people in this city are ready to go for football. There's a lot of pride showing up in this day and age behind your Lions. The days of the brown bags on the faces and whatnot, those are over. I mean, people are really, really into this squad. One thing they're not into, Hendon Hooker, he once again turned the ball over, had a bad game. Here's my take on backup quarterbacks. As you go down the chart, your second string guy has got to be able to run the offense and score. Protect the football. Your third string guy doesn't even have to be able to score. He's just got to protect the football. Just protect the football. Don't turn over the dang ball. What does Hendon Hooker do? Turns over the football. He also doesn't score, doesn't move the offense. I don't even see a spot in this organization for him on like a practice squad right now. I don't see a spot for him. I think fundamentally, now I'm sure he's stuck around for as long as he has. I'm sure he's a locker room guy. Fundamentally, he just doesn't seem to match Dan Campbell football on the football field.
It's not Dan Campbell football. It's professional football or competent
just the
football.
Overall. You're the overall. He's not going to end up anywhere in your eyes, then.
He's looking to run the second the pocket breaks down. He can't look beyond his first read.
He follows that receiver. Boy, does he telegraph a pass better than anybody. My goodness.
He cannot get
Doesn't
to the
look
second.
off a guy to save his life.
Third read is not in his
I don't even think a second
playbook.
read's there, to be honest.
No, I don't think so either. And I listen to a lot of other podcasts. I read a lot of other media, and everything I'm gathering is that the team and his teammates are starting to get frustrated with it for the fact that they set it up on a platter for him to be able to run the 2-minute offense the last 2 weeks, and he screwed it up.
I mean,
both
in
times.
regard to who's in the lead for that number 2 role, and I don't think this is a question to anybody, we don't have to beat this to death.
No.
But Dan Campbell's quote, I would trust Kyle more because he's proven more after these 2 games. There you go.
Allen looked great against the Dolphins.
I mean, Allen's looked good in 2 games now.
Yeah, he led one 6-minute drive that resulted in a touchdown to Meeks. And it was really, really, really productive and good. And then what every second string, third string, fourth string quarterback wants is 2-minute drill before the half. It's your time to shine. And he executed on that. And then our guy Cole Slaw, or T Slaw, or have you heard the new one? Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime.
Do you get why?
Yeah. Megatron, Optimus Prime.
1881.
81. The numbers flipped around.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. I haven't even looked at this number yet.
Okay. And then the other nickname I heard was Mayo Slaw.
Mayo Slaw is good. Anything with a slaw will probably work. We like our food. I think he's going to be, he's going to take that Tim Patrick role right away from Tim Patrick, I think. And I like Tim Patrick. Don't get me wrong. I just think that Slaw is going to be out there as it would be really difficult to call him a number 3 receiver right now, but I think he's going to be a number 3 receiver for the Lions pretty soon.
And I know we already teased it. Yeah. There's no way Jameson re-signs with this team regardless of how
you don't think there's any way.
The only way I would say is if they franchise him.
He is going to have an unbelievable season.
Okay, well then they franchise him.
If you saw these, I don't know if you watched any of the video from the combined practices with Miami. He and Amon-Ra.
I did.
Oh boy, they look good. It's practice, okay? It's practice. Talking about practice. But they looked awesome. And so did T-Slaw. He looked great. So I think you got 3 guys right there. I'm excited to watch this guy play with the first string and against first string so we can see if he's really all that. I don't think there's a chance he's a Tom Kennedy, we'll put it that way, whose stock is falling finally and probably won't even make a practice squad this year. But he's definitely at the top of my list, the guys I'm excited to see play this season as far as new flavors go. I'm excited to see any of our starters. I don't typically like preseason. I've said it because we just don't see the guys we're going to see. But another one of your guys, Bill, had a pretty good game himself, not only as running back, but on special teams, Sione Vaki.
I gave everybody the heads up on that.
You gave everybody the heads up on Sione Vaki.
Now that his hamstring's healthy or healthy-ish, he had a great game.
He could take Craig Reynolds' spot. As much as everybody loves Craig, Sione Vaki's going to make the team regardless because he's got high upside for special teams.
Yeah. So on that note, if you could turn it over to me, You take it. Go on. I did my projected 53-man as what we know now. This is so subject to change, and I'm going to do it slow so you can say yay or nay.
Are you going to go through all 53?
Yeah. What else are we going to do for the next 22 minutes?
Okay. Buckle up, folks.
Obviously, St. Brown and Williams are your 2 starting receivers. I don't see Khalif Raymond not making the team, but I've heard that he is in danger of being cut if he cannot return punts and kicks.
And look how he's become an afterthought. Very interesting.
He got hurt last year.
I know. I get it, but
that's why the league's called Not For Long. Our boy Coleslaw is on. Our boy Patrick is on. Meeks is a question mark, but I have him on right now, which gives you a whopping 6 receivers, which means that Meeks and Coleslaw are going to have to play serious minutes on special teams. That being said,
what about Lovett?
I do not have
Dominic Lovett. You don't have him?
Don't have him making the team.
Okay.
Give me a case for it.
Well, I think he's just a step behind Slaw right now. And he's a draft pick, so you're going to have to find a little spot for him somewhere.
I think he could be a practice squad player.
They'll
keep a receiver on the practice squad. You're allowed 10.
Could be. Okay.
This is an area that I do have a blank spot. So this is going to be the 3rd spot on the roster. For tight end, I only have Laporta and Brock Wright. I do not have a 3rd tight end. Zylstra played terribly, has had a gazillion penalties, no pun intended, and is also hurt now. I imagine that tight end might be something they pick up after final roster cuts happened for the 3rd tight end.
Interesting.
If you have other intel or not intel.
I actually read that they're going to probably pull somebody at roster cuts, but I don't know that Zylstra's completely out of the picture.
I think if he were healthy, he'd have a shot.
Yeah, probably. But I get where you're going. He didn't have the greatest.
He
didn't have the greatest game this past week, and he's had a pretty bad preseason so far.
And it was all there for him
with all the opportunities he's had. Yeah.
All right, running backs: Gibbs, Montgomery. I think Craig makes the team, and I also know Vaki will. So I think they keep 4 running backs.
You think Sailors is destined for the
practice squad?
Practice squad. Okay.
Yeah. That's just my opinion.
Okay.
Here's where it gets a little controversial. I only have Goff and Allen making the team right now. I am not certain that the second string quarterback is on this roster, but right now I've seen enough. You've seen enough. We've all seen enough of Hendon Hooker. Unless he comes out and lights it up, he is practice squad at best. And that would be, I think, a huge detriment to Brad Holmes. You have to know when to fold when your draft picks don't work.
Campbell's quote on Hooker sounded like, well, we don't have many other choices at the moment. He was like, we're still going to coach Hooker up. We're still going to see what's there and see if we can get him better. I mean, we still got a little bit here. He's like, what else am I going to do? Until they get somebody, this is it.
It's very A.J. Hinch with a leadoff hitter.
A little bit.
He just doesn't have one.
He just doesn't have one. So he's got to do with what he's got. Yeah.
Starting O-line, Decker at left tackle, obviously Sewell at right tackle. Ratledge has looked exceptional next to Sewell.
Yeah.
Here is something that I've gleaned from national media. Jonah Jackson, who is really, really exceptional in 1 year playing next to Penei Sewell, basically made a Pro Bowl and then is an alternate, I think, and then signed a huge deal with the Rams and was cut thereafter. Not benched. He was outright cut. I think Sewell is like John Hanna. Like, who are the other great tackles in the league? Who is that monster from Ohio State that like just dominated for years? It'll come to me in a minute. He is because John Hanna was a guard. I'm sorry about that.
You thinking of like Orlando Pace?
Bingo. Okay. I think he could be that good in his lifetime.
Okay.
And so you've got that. Mahogany's settling in. I think he's the weakest link on this offensive line at left guard. And then you've got Glasgow. And apparently I read subtext that basically said that the Lions knew that Ragnow was probably hanging it up and that he and Glasgow had talked about this transition. And that was also why Kevin Zeitler was kind of exit stage right, because the Lions knew they wanted to go younger. They would have paid Zeitler, but not what the Titans were willing to pay him. Backups. I've got Skipper, Manu. I still have Corby Sorsdale on here only because he's Lions draft pick. I know he's hurt. And then I've got Frazier, who's also hurt. So know that there's 2 open spots there that will still develop because injured list will conflict with that. If you want to provide a couple names, I'm happy to, but I haven't seen a report that says these guys are for sure going to make it outside of, I have one name that apparently is for sure going to be cut.
So I look at, our 5 are Decker, Mahogany, Glasgow, Sewell, and Ratledge. Those are the guys that are going to get the starting nod, right?
Done. And then Dan Skipper, when,
Skipper
eligible. Eligible as a receiver.
Eligible, right? So I think you're looking, I don't think Manu has evolved like they thought he may. So I don't even know if he gets a backup role at this point. There was a guy, Kingsley Iguakun. He had a decent showing in this game, but he's not I don't know that he makes the team.
He was terrible against the Falcons. He was
bad against the Falcons.
Outside of Hendon Hooker, he was the second lowest PFF grade against the Falcons.
He did improve for the Dolphins. But who knows if that's against the Dolphins? Who knows why these things happening in the preseason? But I don't think I see anybody beyond our starting 5, other than Skipper, tackle eligible, that really jumps in and takes a spot. And you've got Cologne and Frazier injured. So we may have some offensive line depth issues this year. Who comes in on a rotation even? You're going to put Manu in there on a rotation?
He's the best that they probably have.
Skipper and Manu are going to rotate in like when guys need a blow for a down.
Skipper's been playing with the third team at this point.
I know.
So, depth is definitely, but depth's an issue for
Mason
everybody.
Miller's a rookie, maybe him, but I don't see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So, like I said, I have a tight end question. Obviously, we overloaded at receiver. We had 6. We had 4 running backs, and there's 2 open positions for offensive linemen, and that was with the Lions keeping 2 quarterbacks, not 3. So, I'm just letting.
So let's hope the offensive line stays healthy. Which never happens.
But I'm just giving everybody just a quick snapshot. So now let's go to the other side of the ball.
Okay.
DJ Reader will be a starter at defensive tackle.
Okay.
Aleem McNeil will when he gets back off the injured list. Broderick Martin might be the biggest disappointment outside of Hendon Hooker, but I still have him making the roster for the fact that he at least is healthy, which I know is not good. Then I'm going Williams, the rookie. He and Reader will be your starters at defensive tackle.
I think that's going to be it. I was just about to say, I think Tyleek is going to be next to Reader as the starting DTs to begin the season.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're right on that. And then Wingo is injured. I think he's part of their long-term future, Mackay. Lopez, who they signed as a free agent from the Cardinals, is also injured, but not seriously injured. So I think that's kind of your defensive tackle room. The one that I would say is a question mark is Martin, and maybe something else happens there.
So until McNeil and Wingo come back, I think you're going to see Reader, Lopez, and Tyleek kind of rotating in the middle there. I don't know if you're going to see a Pat O'Connor. Remember Mr. O'Connor? He kind of came in and played a little last season here and there.
I think he makes the team, and he is one of the ones I had on my kind of like,
okay,
I left 5 or 6 open spots.
Sure.
I think that's a really good shout out on your part for Pat O'Connor. Because he played serviceable, if not above. I would put him, if we used a baseball term, he was above replacement player, meaning he didn't cost you games. He held the line of scrimmage, and so he is one that I can see making this team. Anybody else?
Keith Cooper as a rookie might get a little look there. I think he'll make the team. I don't know how much he'll play. We'll see.
Meaning 53 or practice squad?
I'm meaning 53. I think he'll make the team. I think he's going to be on the 53. I think he's going to make the 53.
All right. Put that on the...
Let's see. Keith Cooper, put it on there. See if he
makes
it.
That's a Strohs/Fago beer
I guarantee you at some point in time, you're going to see more of him in the season as things go.
Okay, but so now you're talking big.
Now I'm going bigger. Yeah, what happened throughout the season. But I get you're just doing the starting 53.
No. So what you're going to send to me if it doesn't happen, is a 6-pack of Strohs from Primo's, a pizza of your choice from Primo's. Please don't make it nasty. And then you're going to have to send me not a 2-liter, but a 3-liter of Fago.
A 3-liter of Fago?
Well, they make it. That's why.
I'm sure they do.
Of course
I'm positive they do.
The Juggalos love that stuff.
So what?
Come on.
What? All right.
That was good. Come on.
So defensive Broderick Martin, you think he makes the 53? I
mean, at this point,
they need a nose tackle. That's what he does.
Except he's been terrible.
Yeah. He hasn't quite panned out, has he?
Yeah, so Pat O'Connor might steal his spot.
Okay.
So,
all right. Okay.
Let's move to defensive end. Pascal, Hutchinson, Davenport, Abdullah are kind of my go-tos at this point, and I'm lacking depth thereafter. Who do you think makes it?
Well, Ahmad Hassanin was looking pretty good, but he got injured, and the word on him is he could be out for a bit.
Yeah.
So that may not be great. I think you're looking at Nate Lynn.
I think
Campbell
that's a real strong
blowing
call.
him up.
I know. I think Nate Lynn's
You're
the
looking
strong
at
call.
Hutch and Davenport starting on the ends, and I think Nate Lynn is the next guy up. And probably Ukwu or Muhammad, one of the other two, Al-Qadim Muhammad or Ukwu. I don't know which one, but I think your 3 are Lynn, Hutchinson, Davenport, and then I'm not sure who the next.
Could both make it?
Both of Ukwu and Muhammad?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I feel, yes, they could. You could take them both. It depends. Do you go with only 4 on the roster?
No.
I think you need 5, right? You're going to need 5. 6? You like 6?
Well, I don't know.
You want to go deep at edge. Problem is you don't know what the question mark is like Hutch. All reports have been wonderful, but these guys get hurt like every game.
That's question mark number 1. Question mark number 2 is Davenport, who's never been healthy.
True. So yeah, no, that's actually a very good point. I think you're going to have 5 on the 53.
Okay.
And you're going to end up with somebody constantly rotating in from practice squad onto the team at some point, because I think these guys just get hurt every other game.
Which the point of this exercise is also so when we see the 10-man
so let's go.
Squad,
let's go.
Hold
Lynn.
on, I'm going to linebackers.
Okay, go ahead.
Hold on, but
okay.
where I was going with this is we're painting a really good picture on where the depth needs are going to be for the 10-man practice squad. All right, this is a congested room, and I have
linebackers. We're doing linebackers.
So many questions. All right, are you ready for these?
Fire away.
Alex Anzalone is going to make the team. I know he had like a sit-in and all that, but it seems like he's over it at this point because they're not going to pay him, and he, doesn't probably have much of a market. Jack Campbell is the quarterback of the defense. Dan Campbell said so. Derek Barnes, they're really high on. Derek Barnes might be one of those guys that we have in the wrong spot. He might be more of an edge than he is a true off-the-ball linebacker. So he's one of those flex guys, but I see him making the squad. Here's one that is a question mark. I know the team loves him, but Malcolm Rodriguez is injured.
Yeah.
And then you've got Stewart, who has been like the poster boy with hair and, the fumbled return, but also calling out the Dolphins and this and that. He plays special teams, and he seems like a Campbell type of guy that will bite kneecaps and do whatever to make the roster. So I have those 5 making it.
So I'll tell you who my 6 are. I'll give you 6.
There's no way they keep 6 linebackers.
I think they probably would. Yeah.
All right.
I think they'll have to.
Double my Fago Red Pop in a 3-liter.
I'm going Campbell, Anzalone, and Barnes as your 3 that are obvious to make the team. You're going to have Grant Stewart is definitely making this team. I don't see a way he doesn't. He's been so good in the preseason.
Okay.
And he's a special teams guy, which is always going to get you on the roster. Okay.
Yeah, but he screws up on special teams all the time. He's had 2 penalties and a fumble.
Look, I like how he's playing linebacker.
I can't wait to pour cheap vodka into my 3-liter of Red Pop that you're sending me.
Zach Cunningham and Trevor Nowaski are probably going to make this team.
If Trevor Nowaski makes this team, I'll be upset.
Nowaski's he's going to make I think he's going to make I think he's going to be the 6th. The only other guy I can think of would be like Ezekiel Turner, possibly taking his spot. But Turner and Nowaski don't play the same role. So you're probably looking at like Cunningham or Nowaski then. And then I think Cunningham makes it. So I don't know. I'm going with Cunningham, Stewart, Nowaski, Campbell, Anzalone, Barnes. Those are my 6.
I'm going 5.
And I don't know about Malcolm Rodriguez. You got a great question mark in on him because he's hurt. How do we find, I don't know if we find space for him or not. Because then you got 7.
No. There's no way.
How hurt is Malcolm? Do you have anything on that?
Out last year, has not played this year.
It's a bad injury.
So maybe he kind of hides behind the PUP, and we'll see.
Okay.
All right. Defensive back room. I've got DJ Reed, lock. Amik Robertson, lock. Terrion Arnold, lock. I've got Rakestraw as a lock. I know he's hurt, but they're not going to give up on him. What he's shown has not been terrible. He just can never be healthy. Dorsey is a lock. My guy that I mentioned last week, Yaksin, is a lock. And then I go to the safety room. I've got Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch. I think Norris, and I just want to give kudos to, real quick, because we didn't talk about it a ton. Scary injury, Nathan Carter, former Michigan State, Rutgers athlete, and Maurice Norris had a very, very scary collision.
Yeah.
And I've never really thought anything of Raheem Morris as a head coach. He was the one that apparently initiated that to Dan Campbell, that we are done. It is a preseason game. Take the fines. We don't care. And Dan Campbell said, you are a good man. Agreed. And they called the game. And then a guy I'm hearing a lot about, I have him in the safety room, even though he's truly more a nickelback, is Whiteside, local kid. My question is, do they keep 4 safeties? Or excuse me, I've got 6 DBs. So there's some, there's a lot of shuffling here. But what we're trying to do is give you a flavor for where we see it, possibly projecting, just like we did.
I think you might be missing a guy, unless I just didn't hear his name.
Yeah, who's that?
Hallett? How do you feel about Hallett?
I didn't have him on my list, so that's how I feel.
I'm going to give you a quote from Campbell on him. Okay. He played really well. He played pretty darn well in this Dolphins game. He's a guy that can play all the positions. So you need a corner, you need a nickel, you need a safety. He can do them all. Mentally, he knows them all. He's kind of our get us out of trouble guy. That sounds like a guy that's going to make this roster.
And
to me, that sounds like a versatile guy who's going to make the roster.
I love it, Chet, because I think Whiteside is such a long shot to make it.
Do you really? A lot of people think he's going to make it too. They think Hallett and Whiteside are going to be the final two.
Well, then Norris is out.
Yeah, I don't think Norris.
Okay.
Norris, I don't think will. You've got Khalil Dorsey. Don't forget about Dorsey. He's on the.
I have Dorsey
injured. He's injured right now.
Yeah, but he's on the roster.
Yeah.
I mean, so yeah, I again, we're not quite to the 53 yet, but to your point, I think you brought up two excellent positions on that. Here it gets really easy for special teams. Jake Fox is our punter. Jake Bates is our kicker. Hatton is our long snapper. So what happens next is the Lions have a Thursday scrimmage against the Houston Texans, who are visiting Ford Field. To your point, Chet, it was absolutely raucous. I've never seen a preseason game as electric as that, and I expect the same for this week 4. Most teams it's week 3, but week 4, because the Lions had that Hall of Fame game against the Chargers. This week at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 12 p.m. Central Time, this Saturday against the Texans. I would love to say this is a great step up in competition because the Texans typically win their division because it's the worst division in football. The problem is no starters will play in this game. So we won't get to see Nico Collins. We won't get to see C.J. Stroud. Joe Mixon's really, really hurt. So they have some running back questions. So maybe a trade might happen between these two teams because the Lions.
I almost find the inter-squad workouts to be more interesting than the darn games. Because the starters actually play.
They're way more interesting. And one of the things I do expect is a potential trade. I think Vaki might be a Texan at the end of this.
Really?
Lions have the number 1, according to ESPN, Pro Football Focus, and a bunch of other sites, running back room in the NFL.
Okay. All right.
They have depth. Unfortunately, the Texans don't. So who knows? I'm looking forward to the practices this week, practice like you are. I think D'Amico Ryans, their head coach, is cut from the same cloth as Dan Campbell. I think it'll be physical, and then I expect to see nothing on the field Saturday except for again, really, really buzzed, raucous crowd at Ford Field. Any thoughts?
No, the preseason is going as the preseason goes. That's wonderful. It's fine. We're hearing about all these guys that are going to play second and third string positions. I just keep chomping at the bit to see the starters and see where they're at and see how some of them have developed, which is why I got very excited about the inter-squad practices with Miami and getting to actually see some of the film and highlights from those. Our receivers look incredible right now. And I think we are going to have a very good passing game this season.
You gave me a couple big thoughts, and I haven't really given you any thing that you can come back to me on, meaning our silly little beer bets that never really seem to prophesize because they usually cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Mine is, I think the offense is going to be better this year under John Morton than it was last year under Ben Johnson.
You know what? What would be the perfect situation is if we set some sort of offensive records this season, sans Ben Johnson, and the Bears remained the trash that they've been for the last half decade. Do you think there's any possibility we could have that?
The other thing,
I'll be very curious to see how Ben does as a head coach with that Bears squad.
I think he's a really good offensive coordinator. I think two things. One, people underestimate how much influence Dan Campbell has on the offense. Mm-hmm. Dan's an offensive guy. That was his upbringing. He was a tight end. He was a tight end. Then he was a tight ends coach. Then he was an O-line coach. Then he was an O coordinator. Dan runs the offense as Dan sees fit. And Dan hired someone that, I don't want to say under his thumb, but the other part of that is Ben Johnson doesn't seem like a leader of men or a culture guy.
Is Ben Johnson going to be the next Josh McDaniels?
No, he's going to be the next Bears ex-head coach, which is...
Would you take him back after all this as a Lions offensive coordinator?
No, not if John Morton... I just said John Morton's going to be...
John Morton could and Zenda's be... okay, all right, yeah, I get it. I mean,
I
John
guess
Morton might get hired away.
Okay, so say my prediction doesn't come true, then yeah, we have an opening, sure. But yeah, no, I feel bad. Like Aaron Glenn's the next ex-Jets coach, and Benedict Johnson is the
all these
next
guys
ex-Bears
expect
coach.
them to, recreat what they've done.
Nah, it's not going to happen.
It's very difficult to
It's
do.
not
The
gonna
chemistry is
happen.
different. At any rate,
I give Aaron. How about this? We will do one more gentleman's bet. I give Aaron Glenn a better puncher's chance to last longer in New York than I do Benedict.
That's interesting. That's fascinating. Okay.
Would you take that?
No, because I actually think he is going to last longer as the Jets. I think Aaron Glenn is just I think he has the fire to be the head coach, the intelligence to be the head coach. I don't know. I
think he's the leader of men.
I'll be curious to see what happens here with Ben. It's going to be a toss-up for me.
Well, the thing is, Ben has the quarterback, whether he can make it work or not.
Yeah.
Starting Justin Fields with nobody behind him, because Tyrod Taylor or something like that was the Jets backup, and he just got hurt. Or Tyrod Taylor. So Aaron's got a kind of built-in excuse.
Yeah.
And the other difference is that division, let's just say Josh Allen gets hurt.
Yeah.
That division's very winnable.
Very open.
Where the NFC North, I mean, one team falls, Lions
outside of the Bills, there isn't. Who else is a quarterback of note in that division?
I think Drake May's going to have a good year this year.
So? You really think so? Okay.
Well, I think Vrabel's that good of a coach.
Okay. All right.
Finally cleared out the Belichick mess and actually have a little bit of talent. We'll see.
Okay. All right. The Belichick mess. Like, I never thought we would call it that. Brady was a mess, right?
Hold on. How about next pod we lead right back into this? It'll be like one of those shows that ends and then we start right again.
In the next pod,
Tom Brady was the genius. Belichick wasn't. Billy P out.
All right, folks. We leave you with that. The next pod's going to be a Patriots podcast here at Detroit Lions, here at Litterbox Detroit Lions. Excellent. Well, Tom Brady did play at Michigan, so at least we're tying it into the state. But, it's been wonderful. Enjoy the final preseason game and the 2-week lead up to the start of the regular season. We're going to get our 53-man here before you know it. And football will be back. As football fans, we are in bloom pretty soon. So enjoy your final preseason, guys. Go Lions.